Huffington Post had this great article called Rich People Say the Darndest Things. And man, there are some dummies with some paper out there. Let me give you just a few quotes here. So first of all, the CEO of AIG, Robert Ben Moshe, said, quote, "The uproar over bonuses was intended to stir public anger, to get everybody out there with their pitchforks and their hangman nooses and all that. Sort of like what we did in the Deep South decades ago. And I think it was just as bad and just as wrong." So the guy is comparing the anger over bonuses to lynching of black people in the South, in the slave era and the Jim Crow era. What is wrong with you? I mean, how illogical, how irrational do you have to be to see a connection there? So understand what happened. These guys at AIG and a bunch of other places on Wall Street, they made the horrible decisions that bankrupted their own companies, okay? If they actually believed in capitalism, they would say, no, we don't want your money. We're supposed to fail. That's how capitalism works. But we rushed in there, the taxpayer, you and me, the average guy rushed in there, bailed them out, and then they didn't take that bailout money and actually do the right thing. They took that bailout money, and then they gave themselves bonuses. And they bought new corporate jets, and they remodeled their offices to the tune of millions of dollars. And then they have the nerve to turn around and say that when we get angry over that, it's like we are lynching black people. Oh my God, man. They should be thanking us. They should be kissing our ass. They should be telling us we are failures, but you rushed in and saved us. But no, they have the victim complex, even though they are the ones that are obviously getting the better end of this deal. We got the raw end of this deal. We got shafted. What a pathetic loser that he doesn't see that obvious reality to anybody paying attention. There's another guy, Steven Schwartzman. He's the founder of Blackstone, a Wall Street private equity group. And this guy is a billionaire. And he said about Obama's tax proposal, quote, "It's like when Hitler invaded Poland in 1939. So everything that anybody's upset with, even mildly, if it makes you feel slightly uncomfortable or you disagree a smidgen, all of a sudden it's Hitler or it's lynching and the KKK. I mean, how do you even respond to that? So what was Obama's tax proposal, by the way? Raising the top rate for the 1% an extra 3%. Diverting back to what the rate was during the Clinton years, the marginal rate of 39%, when we had one of the largest economic expansions in American history. So going back to a rate that empirically was better and only cost 3% more when the rich are already paying a record low, that's equivalent to Obama's Hitler. Obama's a Nazi for that. Please. And then you have Rush Limbaugh. Now, I know my Rush Limbaugh history likely better than anybody else anywhere. I mean, I cover this stuff on the show all the time. But I was actually unaware of this quote. He said, "You cannot guarantee that any two people will end up the same, and you can't legislate it, and you can't make it happen. You can try under the guise of fairness and so forth, but some people are self-starters, and some people are born lazy. Some people are born victims. Some people are just born to be slaves." Now, up until that last sentence, it was just your regular run-of-the-mill conservative douchebaggery. But don't, some people are born to be slaves. Okay. We also have Gina Reinhart, who is the richest person in Australia, said, quote, "If you're jealous of those with more money, don't just sit there and complain. Do something to make more money yourself. Spend less time drinking or smoking and socializing and more time working." Right, because the rich also, they don't smoke or socialize or drink. Actually, I'd be willing to guess that they probably do that at higher rates, or at the very least, the same rates as everybody else. And also, by the way, how can you get rich if you work harder, but you're working at a job where literally if you work full-time, you still don't make enough money to even survive? It's still not even a living wage. We have a gigantic working poor class in the United States of America. What are you talking about? Now, and it varies from country to country, but, I mean, to tell people in that situation to work harder, they could already be working as hard as they want. They're not going to make enough money to live. So you're not dealing with reality. And are you ready for this? She inherited a huge mining company worth millions and millions of dollars. So she's telling people to work harder and do this and do that and stop smoking and start doing this and yada yada. Meanwhile, her ass inherited everything. These guys are so loathsome and so stupid. And then finally, my favorite is this dunce, Representative John Fleming of Louisiana.
And so by the time I feed my family, I have, maybe $400,000 left over to invest in new locations, upgrade my locations, buy more equipment.
You do understand, Congressman, that the average person out there who's making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year, when they hear that you only have $400,000 left over, it's not exactly a sympathetic position. You understand that?
Well, again, class warfare has never created a job.
After I feed my kids, I only got $400,000 left. What the hell you expect me to do with that, huh? I can't buy 3 mansions and 4 yachts with that. How am I supposed to get a new Ferrari or Maserati? Why y'all keeping me down? Why y'all oppressing me? I'm a victim here. This is the kind of people that we're dealing with. Okay, so don't tell us we're wrong. We are not the irrational ones. We are not the illogical ones. We are the ones that we're looking at the evidence, we're looking at the way the system functions, and we're saying, this is bullshit.